You know what? A lot of writers quietly wonder if pitching magazines is still worth it in 2026. They think, maybe it's outdated, it's too competitive, or it's only for a certain type of writer. But today, I actually want to talk about why pitching magazines is still one of the most practical ways for you to build a writing life, especially if you want to be an independent writer like myself. My name is Halana Black. I've been a professional writer for the last 10 years. Since 2018, I actually packed my bags, left the US, and then decided to take my writing business abroad. So I've been gallivanting across the world with my writing business, and I've lived in 10 countries thus far. Started out in Thailand, I now live in Mexico. And so I have a ton of experience that I'd like to share with you. Let's get into the video. Why do writers avoid pitching? Most writers don't avoid pitching because they can't write. It's not because they can't write. They avoid it because the pitching process sort of feels too personal for them. And so there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear of rejection, um, fear of being judged, feeling like your ideas aren't good enough yet, and feeling like editors are just really not that approachable, which is not true at all. So pitching really isn't avoided here because it's hard. It's avoided because people feel exposed. It's kind of hard. People feel exposed. It's really difficult to be able to put your ideas out there. But I actually want to help you reframe that mindset a bit. So this is what pitching actually is. Pitching is not asking someone else for permission to put your work out there. It's proposing a clear idea to a publication that actually is looking for your ideas. So here's what I want you to know. Editors are in need of great content. They never don't have a need for great content. They want your good ideas. Writers help editors to solve problems. That's what these articles are for. These articles that we write for magazines and other places where you are pitching your ideas, you're actually helping them to solve a problem, to get this information into the hands or the eyeballs of the readers that they say that they support. And they need you to be able to do that. So you help editors solve problems. Pitching is about communication. It's not about performance. It's about community. How well do you communicate the ideas that you have that you want to be able to write about? So once you as a writer understand this, pitching stops feeling like a gamble, or it stops feeling personal, and it really just starts feeling like a skill that you need to develop. Okay? Um, why pitching supports an independent writer life? Why does pitching support an independent writer life? Pitching helps you build confidence. I can't tell you how much I've learned about myself through the pitching process. And I can tell a whole story about where it is that I've started with my writing. But I did not start off with this great big, with a ton of ideas. I really started with absolutely no idea with what it is that I was doing. I just knew I wanted to be a writer. I had always been really good at writing, but it was just unclear about how to go about it. And it took me some years to be able to figure it out. And as I practice, as I go out and do things, as I connect myself with other people who have trained me, I'm able to build my own confidence and build my own writing life. Pitching has also taught me how to create clarity, how to find clarity in my ideas. The more you do it, the clearer your ideas will be able to get. It's not so much about starting off with the perfect idea as it is about connecting your idea to what it is that the magazine is looking for. So they're in there looking for clear ideas. That's something that you can develop. Pitching gives feedback faster than waiting. That's just sort of obvious. Pitching gives you feedback. When you actually put the pitch in, you actually give yourself an opportunity to be able to communicate with an editor or whoever happens to be opening up the email. And if you are able to get feedback, whether or not they open it or not, whether they actually read it and say yes or no, whether they read it and they might give you some all-out feedback. Getting any feedback of it, any of that feedback, whether you hear from them or not, is a lot faster than waiting on an opportunity, thinking that somebody's going to find you and thinking that you're going to become famous. You got to put your ideas out there. If you don't put your ideas out there, no one is ever going to find your talent. Pitching creates momentum. Pitching creates momentum. So the more you do it, the faster feedback you will be able to get. Pitching helps your work to circulate. Editors know other editors. And so there have been places where I've started writing in one place, the editor might leave and go someplace else, or they may hear of writer openings where they know that my skills will fit and they actually will speak to one another. Your work will speak for itself over time, but you have to have the patience to be able to put that sort of work in. So pitching really helps writers to stop waiting to be discovered and to really start participating in your own process of becoming an independent writer. This matters even more when you are a writer who is in midlife. I'm talking to my ladies who are 40 and over. I'm 48 years old. So when people don't want to start over, or you don't want to have to compete for jobs, learning this skill of pitching can take you any number of places. Let's see. What else did I want to cover today? Why examples change everything. The thing that changes pitching for most writing, the thing that changes pitching for most writers is seeing real examples. What the internet doesn't need is more vague writer advice. I myself have gone down the rabbit hole of looking for writer advice, just random writer advice that some of it might fit, but a lot of it sort of falls flat. Why real pitches create confidence? Because real pitches create confidence because this is the thing that actually gets you writing faster. Instead of writing in some hole somewhere where no one's ever going to read your writing, it's nice to be able to have a space where you can take your ideas, share it with someone who's been writing. A lot of these editors have been writing for years, some of them decades. And to have the opportunity to have them put their eyes on your work, put it in their magazine, is a great place to start. You don't have to stay there forever now. You can do that and move on to other projects if that's what you would like to be able to do. You can become an author, you can be a consultant, whatever it is that you're trying to do for yourself. But it does help you to create confidence in what it is that you're doing. Also, with pitching, clarity is something that you're always looking to develop. So that, and that's a skill that is learnable. So that's really what I wanted to be able to share today. I have something for you if you are interested in learning about what a pitch actually looks like. If you want to know what a pitch looks like, I have something called 5 Successful Magazine Pitches. These are my own personal pitches that I am sharing with you, and it is for free. You can go ahead and download it. Just go to the description and click on the link. It says 5 Successful Magazine Pitches, and what it is it is just a couple of paragraphs. I have 5 different pitches, a couple of paragraphs per pitch, where it's telling you what the actual pitch looks like, and then I give you a link to what the actual published article looks like after it's been accepted and I've written the article and it's gone through editors. So that's really good to be able to see, because I want you to see that this thing is actually doable. This skill of pitching is actually doable. You can actually start writing and getting recognized for the work that you put out there today. Right? You can actually do that today. So that's all I have to share with you. My name is Helana Black. Please, if you like this type of content, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you'll get more updates. All right, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.